Welcome to Motherhood. I'm Dr. Christina Hibbert, and you know I'm here to help you overcome, to become, and to flourish. And today we're going to be talking about, I guess, pretty much all three of those things. We're going to be talking about how you can overcome challenges, how you can become the best you can be, and especially how you and your family can flourish through the power of music. And this is a topic I've been wanting to do for a while because I love music. It's been part of my life since I was little, part of my family's life growing up, and now my own family's life. And I knew the perfect guest immediately when I really started to get serious about doing this topic, and that is Thomas Byers from Thomas Byers Guitar Studio. And for those of you watching the video, he just waved, but for those of you listening, we're going to introduce him in just a minute. He's going to sit tight and look pretty for a minute. I told him that that's not his only job, right? You can just say hi. Say hi, Thomas.
I'm laughing. Hi. Hi.
He's here listening, but I'm just going to introduce the show real quick. So anyway, we're going to talk with him in a minute about the power of music and what it can do for you personally and for your family. Now, I want to thank you for joining us here on Motherhood. And as you know, we have switched platforms. We are not on Web Talk Radio right now, but we are hosting our own shows through my website, drchristinahibbert.com. If you go there and look for the Motherhood Radio page, you can find all of the episodes, especially the new ones and most recent, but we're also uploading all the old episodes, so watch for those. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel for the Motherhood TV videos that go along with many of these episodes. And I'm going to start adding other videos to help you grow through motherhood like we do here on the show. So that's a wonderful way to keep up with what we're doing here on the show. And pretty soon, I'll be excited to announce a whole new website for Motherhood TV and radio. So that's coming soon as well. In the meantime, you can keep up with us on social media through Facebook and Instagram. We have a new Instagram account called motherhood.tv. You can start following that to get updates about the shows, or just follow me, Dr. Christina Hibbert. Wherever you are online, I'm there as well. And, you know, again, this is such an important topic and one that I've really been looking forward to. It's so fun to have music in your life. And if you're listening, you might be thinking, well, I don't play an instrument or I don't sing. But I'm pretty sure most of us in one way or another enjoys music in some fashion, right? And so I want you to be thinking about, how does music play a role in your life personally? And how has it played a role in your family's life? Has it played a role in how you grew up or in how you're raising your family? As I mentioned at the beginning, my father was a musician. In fact, my earliest memory, and I love this because I must have only been a couple of months old. I don't even know how I could remember this. He says I couldn't have been more than 4 months old. But my earliest memory is I can remember this place by the mall where my dad went into this garage and had band practice. He was a drummer and singer in the band, and he also played the piano and plays the guitar. So, I mean, I was always going with my dad on gigs, and then he would sit and play for us growing up, play songs for us that just bring me right back to my childhood. And our family still to this day, when we get together, whether it be for Christmas or even just recently, we celebrated my grandmother's 100th birthday with all of her family, 100 different family members. And still our family was up there singing and sharing a song that I'd written. And everybody in my family is, loves music in some way and engages in music in some way. So it's been really important in my life. And I hope that after today, whether you think yourself a musical person or not, that you will see the power of music and what it can do for you and your family, and find little ways that you can put more music into your daily life, not just personally, but also with your kids and with your husband or your partner and, as a family. So again, Thomas Byers is here to talk with us about this today. Thomas, thanks for being here and for sitting so nicely.
You're very welcome. I aim to please.
You do, and that's why I knew you'd be great on this show. Now we had Thomas on a few episodes back, but he was just on for a brief little simple solution segment to tell us about his fabulous online guitar program. But I had to have him back because he's just a fun guy, and you'll see.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let me tell you a little bit about him first. I mean, Thomas and I know each other because he actually teaches guitar at my children's school. And several of my children, my boys at least, almost all of them have taken guitar from you at one point or another, right?
Yeah.
And
three of them. So
three of them. Yeah, 3 out of the 4. So that's pretty good. And he's also he teaches in his private studio, and now he has this great online program. We'll tell you all about it. So tell me first, where you got your master's degree in
classical guitar performance and pedagogy, which is a really fancy name for I studied a lot of guitar. That's
yes, he has studied a lot of guitar, and he is amazing, not only as a guitarist but as a teacher, because he doesn't just seek to just get you in and out and teach you a song, but really to teach you the proper technique and to also inspire a love of music. So he's been working for over a decade with thousands of students of all ages, elementary school, middle and high school, where my kids are, university students, and he's worked with individuals and ensembles. My son's part of the ensemble at school, and they have traveled all around. They recently won 2nd place in a competition in Texas. They're going to Zion soon. Pretty fun stuff. Like I say, he inspires them to actually love the guitar, not just to play it, right? Would you say that's what you're trying to do? Yeah, okay.
I mean, they're still in the class, so that's good.
They're not dropping it, at least. They're going to come back another year, right? So that's all good. Yeah. And he also won a Grammy for the school program in 2014, which was pretty exciting. Yeah. And now he's taken this whole program online with these online lessons that start off with free lessons for all, stages and, of playing guitar, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then you can, get a subscription and actually learn online with Thomas Byers here, right?
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely correct. And we do square one to square done pretty much, which sounds corny, but
I love
it. That's exactly what we try and do. And like you said, it's beyond just playing the guitar. It's learning how to connect with the instrument, how to engage with people by playing beautiful music right away, and gaining confidence in learning how to express yourself as well. Just before I signed on with you, we wrapped up our very first webinar that we're going to be doing weekly webinars all the way through August at least.
Wow.
And we just finished it, and it's just going to be topical things like today was how to jam, and we covered things that took me and my other instructors forever to realize or be told and all that, and hopefully provide that to people right away so they can start experiencing music today with other people or by themselves or anything like that. So those can be found on Facebook, Thomas Byers Guitar Studio, or youtube.com/Thomas Byers Guitar.
Awesome. And you can go to his website as well, thomasbyersguitar.com.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So, it's an amazing program for guitar, especially. And, today we're going to talk about not just guitar, but music of all types. But definitely if you or your children are interested in learning more about guitar, go to his website and check it out because, like I said, he's a great teacher, and now he's making it available for everybody. You don't have to live in Flagstaff anymore.
That's right.
We were lucky before. We were privileged, but now everybody's privileged. So. Anyway.
That should be our tagline. You are privileged. Yes.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of people that way, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so let's talk about music and how it can help us obviously most of our listeners are moms of different stages of life and different kids of all ages or grandparents. Parents, obviously, they're parenting. They're in the thick of it with family. You yourself are a father with a little one at home. How old is he now? 2 or?
He just turned 3.
3. Oh my goodness.
He's it's the greatest experience of my life.
Wow.
And as all of your viewers and listeners know, probably the most challenging experience of my life. But it's joyful. I try and find the joy in it every day.
That's a blessing. And that's the way to do it. That's why we talk about growing through motherhood here, because it is such a challenge. But if we look for the good and we keep working on it, we can, like you say, find the joy in it. So.
Yeah.
And music is one of those ways to actually put some joy into it, wouldn't you say?
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So, I my degrees are in guitar, but, music's been with me for, as you were saying earlier in the introduction, like since I was young. And maybe not to the extent like the whole family's getting involved in all that, but for me personally, it was always an outlet. It always gave me a place where I could find some solace when I didn't think I could find that with my immediate family for whatever reason. Families can be complicated.
Oh, yeah.
And then, really falling in love with it in terms of the guitar in high school. And now fast forward to me and my family, my wife doesn't play any music, but she loves music. So we are going to concerts as often as we can. Cohen has every instrument that we could possibly give him without injuring himself or breaking the house. And it's going really well. Mm-hmm. And I want to be clear that it's not, my interest isn't in my son becoming a really fine guitarist or virtuosic drummer or something like that. And I think Amy would agree with me here. Amy's my wife. Our goal is that he's touched by music and has an outlet with music as much as we still have, and we can bond with it together and all that, all of the good things that come with that. So, I know just from your kids, you guys go and see concerts together. Yes,
we do. I love going to a good concert. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
I think you guys went to a Jason Mraz concert.
We did.
Yeah, and we were at the same one.
Oh, you were? Oh, no way.
Yeah, we went to the same one.
Good. It was so good. It's so fun, and it bonds us, and then we listen to the music afterward, and every time we hear it, it reminds us of that experience of going. So, yeah, that was my daughter's first time at a concert, and it's pretty fun to do that. Yeah, and that's something everybody can do. There are lots of free concerts you can go to as well, and, all kinds of things.
Concerts. Yeah, like concerts at the park in Flagstaff. Your views are from everywhere, but you rarely go to a concert and you're the only one there. So like the social bonding that happens with live music or listening to music is extraordinary and really deep in our nature. It's really extraordinarily deep in our nature. We all grow up banging on things for noise. We all grow up singing, even if don't sing for other people. And even those, I've run across people who say, I don't really like music, and that's fine too. But the world around you is filled with it, and you still have interactions with it on a day-to-day basis. And more times than not, music's used for good in the world, and that's something true. That's nice too. More often than not.
More often than not. That's right. I like the way you put that. That's true. And I love that you're bringing out this point of social bonding, because I think we know, like, those who love music who are listening right now are going, oh, I totally get it. I know. I love music. Yes. I love playing, or I love singing, or I love listening, or whatever. And then, like you say, there might be some that are going, I don't really love music. It's okay. Or I like some kinds, but not others, whatever. But there are all these benefits of music that we might not think about. And one of those you're touching on is this social bonding. And that's really important for us as parents to think about, because that's what we're all about really as parents too, is bonding with our family, and then helping our family and our kids bond with, like you say, the community and other people. So tell us a little bit more about like your take on that, how music helps us to bond with each other as a family and maybe the bigger community.
So before I dive in, I want to tell your listeners to read anything they can by Dr. Oliver Sacks. He died, I think, a few years ago, but he was a music psychologist in his heyday and did all of this really fascinating research with music in the mind and music in social environments. And so I preface that because all of this is from my experience, but there are people out there researching this to say, like, look, this is real, documentable things that are happening in your life that surround music.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to actually ask first how music impacts the brain, because I know that it can change your brain. It can help your brain. And I know there's, I've read the book, This Is Your Brain on Music. There are some other books, but what you're touching on is there is research showing the power of and benefits of research literally on our physiology, let alone our mood and other things. So do you know a little bit about that?
Well, let me get back to the social bonding real quick, because that's so fun for me. So really when you're listening to music, not per se listening just in the background, that's fine too, but like when your family or just you, or at a live concert, when you're really listening to music, that touches on a deeper level of your psyche. A lot of feelings of joy, of smiling. You'll notice that you start dancing almost. I mean, you don't think I will start dancing now. Your body just reacts to it.
Even if you're not great at it, you just dance, right?
Yeah, you just start swaying, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't care if anyone's watching anymore.
Exactly.
And our body does that because music really hits a primal part of our mind and our emotional capacity. So, for example, when I'll play Old MacDonald on the guitar and sing it with my son, and we make it a game, and I stop it. Old MacDonald had a farm, yeah. And on that farm he had a, and I stop it, and he gets to engage, and it's just so much fun. Like I said before, music's used more for good than not. And a lot of the time when you're experiencing music with your family, whether it be playing a game like I just mentioned or going to see a live concert, we're tapping into a really deep part of ourselves and sharing that very vulnerable, deeper part with our family. And I think that leads to ways where we can easily find that joy, like the everyday joy in our lives. My wife's family, they took their kids to concerts starting, when they were in diapers, and like the Moody Blues and all these great concerts. And to this day, still, fast forward 30 years later, to this day at the dinner table, they'll bring up like, oh, Mom, you remember my first concert was the Moody Blues, or we went to this concert. And it's never in a way that they're upset that they went to the concert. They're never angry about the evening. It's always coming from a place of joy, and it provides this context where we can share something that reached us deeply and share it together. Yeah. And, honestly, maybe the only other thing that I can think of right away that does that, but maybe a little more narrowly, is sports. Yeah. I don't know, dads taking their sons to games, things like that. But yeah, so also when kids are, you send them off to daycare and all that, what do your kids come home with? They are singing songs. I can't stress this enough. Yes. All of this stuff is as deep as it gets in our core. It really, really is. And I read somewhere, it may have been in Oliver Sacks' Forward or something. I can't remember where I read it, but that our social bonding happens best when it's dealing with deeper emotions. Yes. We really connect. And if you can think of a better way to do that besides music, I'd love to hear it. Right. But it might not be as fun. So
probably not.
Probably not.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're touching on so many important things here. So first of all, what you're touching on is this shared experience that you have, like at a concert or when you're playing music with other people, even if it's just in your own home. Like if you had friends over and you were just playing the guitar and people were listening, or people are singing along, or you're with your kids, or you're at preschool and everybody's singing a song. It's this shared experience. And like you say, because music touches us so deeply. And I liked how you said, at that primal level, music is just there. And I think that's what a lot of us can relate to is you hear a song and immediately you're back in that era of your life or that day when you heard this song. And it just, it's so powerful to bring up memories, and it's so ingrained in us. Even, even if we aren't trying to make it ingrained in us, it's just part of the soundtrack of our life, I guess. Yeah. And when you have, exactly. And then you have that connection with people. And I'm thinking of these concerts that I've been to and different kinds of experience, like playing with my family or even just together. Because it touched you on that deep level, then you have that experience together, and that's what bonds you, because it's like you say, those emotional experiences are what bond us for life. It's when you are helping someone through a problem, or you're really, someone's having a hard day and you're really there with them. But you're right, that's not nearly as fun as bonding through music. And we can do that and bring that more into our family's life actively if we want.
Oh, yeah. And, I said sports earlier, like that's could be a natural way to bond and create good memories. But take that aside, dancing too, what goes hand in hand with music, even if you wouldn't count yourself as a musical family, to whoever's listening out there, that doesn't mean anything, because we have the power of the radio, of getting music on our phones, and you can do other things rather than play along. You can dance along, You can make games out of it, as I mentioned, maybe with more elementary music, but same idea. You can.
You can rap.
Having a hard time remembering who told me about this, but one of our friends just said that, like, if their kid's upset or something's like that, they play a game where let's pick a song that says how you're feeling. And like, how cool of a way to interact with music. Doesn't mean you have to play it, but there's all these other ways that you can bring it into your household and into your family that's meaningful and it'll still connect everybody. But I just say go to a concert too.
Go to a concert, play music, engage in it, listen to it, bring it into your home. And I appreciate what you're saying here, because I'm thinking about how easy it is to connect with kids through music by, like you say, not having to play music, but making it a game or making it a dance party. Put on your music and be crazy together. Those are some of my favorite memories too, of just, I remember this past Christmas, for some reason, one of our older sons put on some random rap music that I had never heard of with a funky beat. And they all start doing that new, I don't even know what that new dance is, or they like, do you know what that? Yeah, what's that called?
I believe it's the DAP.
That's it.
Dr. Christina Hibbert.
That's what it is. See, you're younger and cooler and hipper than I am. The DAP. Yeah, they're doing that around the kitchen, shirtless, of course. This is like Christmas Day at the end of the day, and they're getting their midnight snack, and we're all just cracking up because they looked so crazy and ridiculous. But you know, those are the times you remember. And also, just a plug for my new book, 8 Keys to Mental Health Through Exercise. You can dance with your kids to be active as well and get the extra benefit of moving your body with the music. Yeah. And, that helps your mental health as well as your physical health.
100%. And social bonding, this just occurred to me right now, and I don't know why, but it's important for me, and I think it might be important for other parents. I'm going to wager it is, that we get the opportunity to expose our children to music that made an impact on us. And it creates this legacy dialogue almost. Like, when my son grows up, he's going to know that mom and dad's favorite band was the Dave Matthews Band, or and this was their favorite song. And, they danced to this song at their wedding. And exposing your kid to music that influenced you has this really powerful connection, kind of like a dynastic connection, where your kids can have an opportunity to almost feel what you were feeling when that song was happening, and have this extra memory that connects you to them. And I can't wait for my kid to come home and put on some hip hop or something with the DAP, and it it may be a phase, or it may just be something popular, but at least it's a way that I know where I can come into his life a little bit more clearly, and that's around music. So he gets to learn music that I love, and he gets to show me music that impacts him, and you learn about who knows what'll come. Yeah, exactly.
In the process.
I don't see anything bad coming from that.
Right, exactly. No, and this brings up the whole thing that I was thinking about earlier, is music therapy. I have used music, especially working with kids and teenagers who can't maybe formulate what they're wanting to say, but they can bring in their favorite music or their favorite song. And boy, you listen to the lyrics, and that teenager that seems depressed and you don't know what's going on, it's telling you right there what's going on. Or, I've had different clients, or even when I've talked to groups about the power of music, listen to different types of music and how does it make you feel, and to notice that power that it has over you, that this certain music really calms you and this one just makes you irritated and you don't like it. And, so there is that power. And so we're kind of transitioning from the social into the emotional, which is part of that social connection. So music can be that emotional bonding as well, but also an emotional outlet for people. Yeah. Right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew how that worked. And thank God for musical psychologists, because they're doing that fine job. But it's mystifying to me how a song that I had nothing to do with creating reflects exactly what I might be feeling. And I'm sure we all have had that experience on some level. But yeah, and I think I mentioned this earlier, in a household, perhaps that outlet that doesn't, you can't get soothed by your family all the time. And honestly, sometimes family and personal relationships can be the source of some of your raw emotions.
Yes.
And it's incredible to me that you can put on some music and find some solace into it, or find something that reflects right to you and says, this is what I've been trying to say, or this is what that lyric right there, that's what I need to say to this person, or that's my new anthem for self-improvement. And if everyone has this opportunity for emotional release and reflection and all that through music, to me, that helps when personal relationships get back together, like in your family, because you've had a way to express something, or you have expressed it, or you now have tools for music to express it, and onward we go.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything else that is so reflective. Like, it can be like, I feel like dancing, I can find dancing. I feel very sorrowful, like I want to cry, I can find something melancholy, or I just want to like sit in my backyard with a beer because it's summertime, and I can find something like that too. So yeah, the emotional outlet is mystifying. I don't know.
I totally get it. And I have a couple of examples here. So one is, I'm thinking it can also be, music can be so healing for us, so after my sister died, I remember driving around and hearing certain songs that reminded me of her, and for a while I couldn't listen to them. And then after a while, it was like listening to those songs were healing for me, because it reminded me of her, or it reminded me of that time when I went through that, or that I came through it. It can also be comforting. My daughter, who's 8, my little one, Sydney, she last night was driving us crazy because she wouldn't go to bed. And, she came in for like the 10th time at like 10:30 at night. And she's like, Mom, I'm scared because, her sister had said something to her that stuck in her head and made her feel scared that there was, I don't know, some kind of monster or something. I don't even know what. And so I was just like, well, you're just fine. Just go to bed. I just couldn't deal with it. And so, but she stayed in her bed. And then this morning she comes in and she's listening to this music that she had gotten on her little Kindle, and she was playing it. It was kind of spiritual music, kind of calm and peaceful. And she said, I played this and I listened to these songs over and over last night, and it helped me just feel so good, and I slept so well, and I feel so happy today. And I thought, wow, I'm so glad she knows that coping skill of turning on some music to help her cope, right?
That is, 100%.
So there's coping, and then I have to say the other one is when you engage in music and perform it, it's also an emotional outlet too. You don't have to perform it to have that emotional outlet. But I remember same thing when I was healing after my sister and brother-in-law had died and all of that craziness that happened in our family. I was taking voice lessons, and I would go down, my teacher's in Phoenix, and I started with him long ago, like 20 years ago. But I'd go down and it would be kind of my time. And when I would sing, I would often just leave sobbing. It would just pull the emotion out of me in a way like kind of like any other creative expression can do, like art or dance, where it just like it makes you feel things on a different level where you're not thinking about it, but it's just pure emotion coming out, right? Primal. Yeah.
It's incredible. A funny story. So teaching in school, I get sick during the school year. It happens. It's a petri dish of awfulness in terms of germs and getting sick.
Yes.
I love my students. Right.
We gotcha.
So I got the stomach bug. I think it was in May, like towards the end of the school year, and I had to take 2 days off, and it was awful. I was quarantined in a back room because Amy and Cohen can't get sick. But the only way, and I just had cramps and everything. The only way I could go to sleep is by putting on Enya.
Oh yes.
I'm a you
fan
haven't
of
heard
using
Enya.
That too. I use it for helping me sleep too, but you go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, I put on Enya, and finally I go to sleep, and Amy walks in, and she saw the whole scene. Like, there's saltines and it's a disaster in there, and there's just Enya playing in a dark room. And I wake up and she's like, Thomas, I feel like I just saw what your funeral will be like. Like, you looked dead, and there was Enya playing. Like, what is going on? I was like, it's the only way I could sleep.
Whatever.
And I don't know why.
Right?
Yeah,
It's very
whatever works.
relaxing music. I get you. I put it on when I need to drown out the kids and I just need to calm down or
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
asleep or I'm trying to take a nap. I'm the same. And even in college, I used to have back in the days of cassette tapes, I had my roommate and I both had cassette players on our different sides of the room, and I would put on Enya and she would put on like sounds of the river or the
Sure.
ocean, and we put them on at the same time and have like an hour-long nap time with both of them going. So there you go.
Well, that sounds lovely. I wish I could take a nap after this.
Yeah,
Just
I
shut
wish
the
you could.
blinds. Oh, that sounds great.
I
Yeah,
know.
there's
So, yeah.
so many ways music can kind of guide us along with what we want to be happening.
Yeah.
Like your daughter can now sleep. I was feeling achy, I can sleep, or
Or
tough
heal.
days in school. Yeah,
Right.
heal.
Or
whatever
pump
you
yourself
need.
up for a moment.
Yeah.
Or, I love listening to my boys getting ready for their basketball games and putting on their
Oh,
music.
yeah.
They got their tunes that they have to play to get them pumped up. Or,
Isn't that funny?
it's funny. Yeah. It's true, though.
I can't. Yeah, yeah. And I think everyone's heard of the pump up song, like your favorite athletes or whatever. I mean, musicians, even before going out and playing, they have a pump up song they listen to before they go out and play.
Oh, see? It's everybody. It's not just sports.
It's too funny.
That's great.
It's too fun.
Because it is such this primal connection emotionally. And you're right. So it can work both ways. It can help us to change our emotions. It can help us to cope with our emotions.
Yeah.
And it can help us to express our emotions, Right, so so obviously emotionally it's wonderful. And then there's a third way that we're going to kind of get into real quick here as we wrap up, which is that we learn and observe through music. And again, that goes back to that brain. We know that music is wonderful for making those brain connections early on in life, that, playing classical music for your children when they're young is great because of the complexity of the music. It helps the brain to sort of develop. But it goes even beyond that. So let's talk a little bit about learning and observation benefits.
Yeah. So this one is particularly important to me only because I love teaching. I love teaching. And I don't know if I've told you this before, but I came to this. I've been getting business coaching and stuff for this new online business and everything. And one of my coaches was like, you need to find out why you are doing this. Like, what's going to motivate you when things are on the downside or when it's just crazy busy or whatever. And so I thought about it for a long time, and I woke up one morning, I was like, I got it. Learning is the closest thing to magic that I can think of. And I was like, boom, I've got it. That's it. How does our brain do this? How can
I love it. I love your
How does
enthusiasm. This is what I mean. This is why you're such a great teacher and why you infect kids with, a desire to want to learn more because you're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Very excited about it. So I've been thinking of how like the different scenarios that surround learning can help a family connect, can provide opportunities for parents to get a real sincere view of their child, especially as they're getting older and developing emotions and become more complicated basically. And vice versa, how parents can learn to slow down and produce something, be expressive. So I like to start with a big call to parents. I know everyone's busy already, but if you have a kid who's learning an instrument, take some time and watch them learn, or better yet, go to a lesson, not all the time, once in a while, and really try and understand what they are learning. Because you're going to see your child go through a variety of stages, and therefore you're going to get to see them or see how they conquer those. So you'll get to see how they handle frustration. And you might be able to develop some tools to intervene in a positive way so that they know they can trust you when they're frustrated. And when it comes out as a positive, or they learn something, or they can see themselves accomplishing something, then they get that inner confidence as well. Then there's, the aspect of performing. If you're involved a little bit and ask them to perform, and I trust you. Most of you out there, if you ask your kids to play something for you, they'll immediately get shy, turn inside. For most people, some kids have students who are kids who some parents have kids who naturally want to perform, but
Right.
oftentimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
And if you ask them to do that, you get to see how your child handles major stress, because performing is major stress. And again, you get to come up with ways to help your kid. And in turn, your kid gets to trust you and come to you for support when they're feeling overwhelmed or have a big something going on, even if it's just a pat on the back. There's all of these opportunities when a child is learning for a beautiful and sincere back and forth to happen with the family. And that can be mom, dad, aunts, uncles, anybody, brothers, sisters, the whole thing. But if you're aware of those opportunities and what's really going on and have time to observe them, there's some massive, massive benefits, because the relationship from there can only get stronger. The flip side of that is, which happens too, and I caution parents not to do this, is to have unrealistic expectations, especially if you're not positive about what they should be learning. So if you expect your child to be performing something really well, but they physically can't, or they're just not ready yet, it can really crush their confidence and start this cycle of them not wanting to perform or not feeling like they can get stuff ready. And it's all about how you frame it. So I really challenge all of your listeners out there to think about that, at least when they're having children learn an instrument or be involved in music. There's all these really cool ways for you to support them.
I love how you broke that up. And also, I want to add in there, that applies to yourself too, if you're trying to learn music. Because we can be the hardest on ourselves, right? And we model for them. When they see us going, oh, I stink and I can't do this, or we're afraid to play for them, then they're going to learn that from us too. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes with learning as well. So I know, Christy, you've learned instruments before, and there's here in Flagstaff, we have a lot of adult students who are taking it upon themselves to get better and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I like to frame learning in sort of a sacred way almost. So if you think of something sacred, you might think of a church, a place of peace, of tranquility. Mm-hmm. If you think of learning as the same thing, you automatically switch your brain from feeling like it needs to be frantic and improving all the time to slowing down, being more in touch with your body, really seeing the minute improvements that happen day to day. Mm-hmm. And when you switch your thinking like that, all of a sudden, when you're approaching your instrument or helping your child approach your instrument, you're coming from a more calm, sincere, this is for you to connect arena. Right. Rather than, well, it's time to play that sonata perfectly, and why can't you do it now? Right. You know, it's a whole dichotomy, and you're totally right. When you're doing it for yourself, if you're going to go learn music, you should do it not because you want to be a master. That's a byproduct of you wanting to connect with music. Right. So you come at it from that angle. It should be a really tranquil experience, something that you can control and admire about yourself.
I love that. And it's that room for personal growth as well, for us as moms and for our families. I loved how what you said touched on everything we talked about today. It touched on, when we're learning, when we're approaching this from a point of learning and trying to teach each other and teach our children and model for them, we are emotionally connecting. We are building relationships and bonding and all of that at the same time. And I really appreciated your specific ideas for how to, engage with your children. And, when they're playing that song on the piano that you hate, that's like for the millionth time, just go and sit and listen and watch and notice that they are improving little by little, so that's a really good tip.
And enjoy the fact that your kid is still working on something 1 million times later.
That's right. I mean,
it may be awful for your ear, but that's a point of admiration. Be like, yo, kiddo.
That's right. Dedication right there, right?
I mean, you keep it up and encourage your kids to filter out those habits of sticking with something into everything in their life. I mean, if they're struggling with math or having a problem with a friend or something, be like, how 1 million times you've been trying to play that piece, and you notice it's gotten a little better 1 million times. Right. Life sometimes can mirror that. You know, there's nothing's a quick fix, at least in my experience.
No.
And music teaches you that real quick.
Yes, and it's great and the other part that I wanted to mention is it's great for your self-confidence. I mean, really, you have to overcome, like you say, with performing. And that's one thing I love about your style of teaching is making the kids perform. And I love when my kids come and ask me to come and listen. You know, Colton's been working on this really tough song for like a year, and he's gotten so much better, and it's amazing. And I love listening to his improvement. And I love that, you know, that's where we can grow, when we can get more confident, where you can play for other people or perform for other people, or, you know, just engage in music. Like you say, even dancing in front of other people at a concert can be part of just feeling comfortable and confident. And music brings all of that out of us. If we let it
really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm grateful I can be involved with music every day. It's pretty much every day.
Yeah, which is a blessing for you, I'm sure, and for your family. So
yeah.
And for us, having you here has been a gift. So thank you so much. I know we could talk way, way more about this, but this has, I think, been a great introduction for all of our listeners on just some things that you guys can do out there to bring more music in, to realize that you don't have to be musical, quote unquote, to engage with music, that you can keep learning about music and learning, you know, skills of music if you want, no matter how old you are. And you can put that more into your family and connect with your family, emotionally support one another, and express yourselves and learn together.
Absolutely. You're spot on all of that.
Well, thank you so much for bringing it all up, and I really appreciate it. And once again, I want to tell all of you guys to go check out Thomas's website, thomasbyersguitar.com, and your YouTube channel. Is it the same, Thomas Byers Guitar?
YouTube is youtube.com/ThomasByersGuitar.
Okay.
And Twitter is Thomas B Guitar, and Facebook is Thomas Byers Guitar Studio.
There you go.
That's what we've got.
Does that
that's
cover
what we've got
it?
going
Okay.
so far.
Okay. I know it's hard to remember all these things, but find him however you can, whatever way is comfortable, so that you can learn more, and also check out that fabulous guitar program that he has, Guitar for All. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again, Christy. I really appreciate it.
It's so fun to hang out with you. I think that's why I want to have you on the show, because you're just fun.
Thank you.
You're just fun. So everybody, thanks for being here with us, and continue to come back and grow through motherhood with us here on Motherhood Radio each week. And until then, you can find more about these episodes and other resources related to what we talk about on my website, drchristinahibbert.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.